Shalom, and welcome to another exciting adventure in the Torah Watchman series number 70. Yes, we have 70 videos so far. Go to your ben-Emmett on YouTube and please click like and subscribe if you like my content. Please provide your comments. That's the only way I can improve my talking points, make sure I can reach out to you wherever you're at in your life. I'm a teacher just by who I am. And every observant Jewish man is commended to read the Torah, not only to read the Torah for my self-benefit, but to also teach the Torah to anyone that wants to hear. Okay? God bless everyone. Foolishly with those not feeling so well. I woke up today with barometric nose, low barometric pressure, and all of this. We have medicine off the counter we can take, but davening and getting in connection with your God-breathed neshama within you is where all the energy and all the joy is, right? The topic of interest today is the Mashiach will not fix stupid. This is a very common phrase I have put on Facebook, and many people understand what it means when you're especially in Eretz Israel and you're expecting the government to do one thing, and then you hear the politicians promising on one thing, and then you see the complete opposite in another. But anyway, there's a very important discussion point about who the Mashiach will be, because he's not here yet, okay? There's a lot of confusion with Christians about their belief system, about what the Mashiach was and Jesus and other things. Even the Jews have mistaken other men to be messiahs and deliverers and things like that of that nature. But the idea of Mashiach is truly unique to Judaism. So this is where I'm at here. There's several scriptures throughout the Torah, throughout the Tanakh, that talk about the Mashiach idea. Okay. First of all, Mashiach again means Messiah. It means deliverer, and it has two different spellings. One is with an M-A, one is with an M-O. It actually, I believe, comes from Moshiach, who was a deliverer of Jews out of Egypt, and he was like the first really redeemer of Israel in that respect. But it also goes back further than that too. So anyway, in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1, Moses prophesies that the Jews will be eventually scattered. I know you're not going to listen to my commandments. I know you're not going to listen to my advice. This is when he was about to die, and he gave blessings and warnings of curses and things of that nature. He said, you will be scattered all over the world, and then until you repent, the Mashiach will not come and deliver you from wherever you're at in your life. The polytheistic prophet, the evil prophet of Balaam, he talks about the return of Israel would be led by the Mashiach. The idea of Redeemer is a thread of truth that's interwoven throughout Judaism going back thousands of years. It's not a new concept. Even Yaakov refers to Mashiach by the name Shiloh in Genesis 49:10. Okay, so again, it's a idea. It's codified in the name Mashiach. It means something that's redemptive, something that will deliver you, something that is definitely orthodox, and something that gives us hope for a brighter day tomorrow, per se. And please bear with me here. The prophets Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Amos, Joel, and Hosea all refer to prophecies in the Mashiach era here, the end of times, per se. A rabbi actually commented that the United Nations, I found this out recently, the United Nations in New York City, on the wall has inscribed Isaiah 11:6. They don't have the rest of it, but it simply says, and the wolf shall lie down with the lamb. This is the Mashiach. These are the days of Mashiach when all war will cease, when all conflict of man will cease, when all rebellion will end. As humans, we'll still make mistakes. We'll have errors. We have unintentional sins to be able with a need for having a temple and have a priesthood reestablished. The idea of Mashiach is reestablishment of Torah law, and that goes against a Christian belief system. The thing is, the only reason why Torah law is not established in the government of Israel today is because Mashiach is not here, and because Israel is a cloth that's cut across two ends, and between secular humanism and observant Judaism. That just is what it is. Who is the Mashiach supposed to be, as recorded in the Torah and the Tanakh? Well, the Mashiach will be a man who will possess extraordinary qualities. He will not be a demigod. It does not say he will do any miracles. Okay? Remember, Moshiach was just a man. God gave him a simple shepherd's staff, but God, through Moshiach, did miraculous things. Okay? So perhaps Mashiach would do the same thing, but the miraculous power is always from God. He will be proficient in both the written and oral Torah traditions. There's a confusion with oral traditions, aka the Talmud, that there was an oral tradition that started when these laws started being divinely given by God to Moshiach, and when Moshiach was starting to write them down, all the way back to the last night in Goshen, Egypt, before the Jews left, the laws of Passover, about matzah and things of that nature. Well, the technique and methodology and approach from family to family, that became an oral tradition, the way it was implemented as far as the atmosphere or the total array of things around those laws. The Mashiach will incessantly campaign for Torah observance among the Jews. He would be a grand master in teaching. He'd be a grand master rabbi. He would be equivalent almost to Moshiach, the greatest of all prophets. He will also instruct the 7 universal Noahide laws to non-Jews. Yes, in the days of Mashiach, when the third temple is built and Mashiach is actually reigning and ruling in Israel as a Davidic king, and yes, we're talking about the institutionalizing of a monarchy similar to King David and King Solomon and the kings of old. That's a big change in Israel today. So he will be scrupulously observant. He will be observant because if you are like a father and you're a teacher to your children, the last thing you want to be is inconsistent in your messaging, right? If I tell my daughter you should not do this, and she sees me doing the direct opposite, if I tell her to say a bracha before she eats and she doesn't hear me leading in prayer, then that's inconsistent messaging. Or she learned something by another rabbi or learned something in a Jewish school and then comes home and challenges me and has to teach me what that teacher said to be true. That's where I'm talking about. So he has to be consistent. He has to be scrupulous about Torah observance, about keeping the 613 mitzvot. He will be observant. He will be orthodox. There will no longer be Reconstructionist Jews, conservative Jews, Reform Jews, people, in the 2,000 years ago, they had Pharisees and Sadducees. People believed in the Mashiach. People believed in temple sacrifice. People believed in resurrection of the dead, and other group of people did not believe in much of anything. There will not be these breakouts in Judaism. You will either be observant and orthodox, or you will not be, you'll be a Gentile, essentially. You will not be considered Jewish or within the tribe. So he will be of the highest standards, the highest morals. There's even discussions about he will be married and have children. That's a novel concept, but most human beings do form families and have children. He will defend religious principles and repair breaches in observance. So even the foreign relationships between Israel during that time, the connection points, the agreements, all of these will be Torah first things. Okay, So even the internal agreements from people to people, from city to city, he will be adjudicator of truth for that. As you know, in a monarchy type of government, you have the king, you have a Levitical type of government in place there too, and you also have elders and judges that do the that that rule over more minor things, similar to what Jethro recommended in Moshiach about appointing of 70 judges. The Mashiach would be heralded as a true Jewish king, not some temporary king or pseudo king like King Cyrus II of Persia, which was used as a Mashiach to redeem the Jewish people, namely Ezra and Nehemiah and their followers, to return to Judea and rebuild Jerusalem. He will lead the way to service of God, and yet totally be humble and enormously inspiring and charismatic. Sounds like a wonderful person, right? Don't we all want to aspire for the character and the morality of the Mashiach? The Mashiach will not fix stupid, okay? In other words, the Mashiach today in Israel of today, who he will be and what the Jewish Bible says he will be, is almost 180 degrees out of phase. So you see the Knesset today, okay? It's an old parliamentary system based in Great Britain back in the Ottoman days, the Ottoman Empire in the 1930s, 1920s, 1910. It's a very older system. They don't have a written constitution. They don't have a Jewish Bill of Rights. It is not mirrored after Thomas Jefferson's constitutional framework that we have in America, okay? So you think about all the things that's in Israel today. There's arguments about the Supreme Court. It's a self-elected Supreme Court. Most of these members there are filled with Arab Jew-hating they're fascists. Really, they're fascists. They make all the laws of the land, and their laws are final. And pretty much the will of the people is not being heard. Unlike in America, we have numerous lawsuits and things that need to be adjudicated through the Supreme Court today in America. But these things actually came from cities, came from people, came from senators and representatives representing people, or lawyer organizations and things of that nature, like abortion and things of that nature. That's not how it works in Israel. So people say the Mashiach will fix this. The Mashiach will fix that. The Mashiach will keep people from stop sleeping around in other people. The Mashiach will remove the gay pride parades in the old city of David. The Mashiach will appoint only Jew-loving people in the Knesset. The Mashiach will have a terrorist death penalty. The Mashiach will build a temple. The Mashiach will reinstate Jewish religious rights and freedoms in Eretz Israel. The Mashiach will not fix stupid. Okay? There's a lot of stupid things in Israel. I think 40% of people do not like the Supreme Court at all. They think it's ridiculous. A lot of things people say in Israel is ridiculous. But they don't. The Mashiach is not a Band-Aid, but he will be a silver bullet, and he will have a ramming rod, and all the things that we have in Israel that we think is our reality today, and the Jews in America too, will be 180 degrees different. Okay, the thing is that we will love that difference because God will put His knowledge in every soul, in every mind, in every heart. Mashiach will be that liaison of truth as a prophet and as a king before God. So understand what the Mashiach is, what the Mashiach is not, what Mashiach is promised to be. There's a lot of things we have to look forward to in the future with everything going on with the world pandemic ongoing. There are a lot of things that are not certain in our life, but what is certain that God never forsakes His people and He never breaks His promises. So may the Mashiach come quickly, right? That's a wonderful, blessed thing. But don't wait on the Mashiach. to fix things you have control of right now in your life, okay? I believe in building a bridge for the Moshiach to come. They say if you build it, he will come, right? When will the Mashiach come? Many rabbis, more observant than me, say that when you humble yourself, when everyone in Israel repents, we light Shabbos candles, when we teach our children the Torah, when we're faithful to our covenants, that's when the Mashiach comes. So do you want the Mashiach to come in Jerusalem on a donkey, or do you want him to come up on clouds of glory? It's all up to our choices, right? God bless you. Take care.